Collecting Books with Danny the Puppet.
Hi, Danny the Puppet here, and for this week's episode of Collecting Bots, I've decided to do a retrospective on the Transformers Legacy line. By now we're about hip deep in the Transformers Age of the Primes. It's a very nice line, but let's take a look at what came before. Legacy was a 3-year line, and it followed the War for Cybertron line. The thing about the War for Cybertron line is it had a clear-cut story. You had the Siege line, which dealt with the Transformers leaving Cybertron. You had the Earthrise line, which was about the trip to Earth. And then you had Kingdom, which was like time travel and weird stuff with Beast Wars. But anyways, we then had the Legacy line. Legacy was kind of odd. It felt like there should be some story to it. Talk about portholes and Transformers coming from different continuities joining in on the fight, but there was no actual story tied to it. It certainly had its bright spots of characters. One of my favorite Transformer toys of all time came from this line, the Legacy Skids. I love the character of Skids, but I really like this figure, so much so that I actually have a couple of him so that I can use him for taking photos that I travel around. If you don't know, my van is a dark blue van, and we often refer to it as Skids. So, it's kind of a nice tie-in. I know Skids isn't really a van, but let's, most people think he is, so we'll work with that. There were lots of other characters that came from it. They did a lot of the animated Transformers in this line, which was really neat. There was also a lot of Beast Wars, including Japanese Beast Wars. But let's talk more about some of the highlights there. So over the 3 years that we had the Transformers Legacy line, we had, first of all, Energon weapons. It wasn't much, and there's hints that they were going to do Energon monsters that just didn't quite work out, probably because of the clear plastic. But the second line, the second year brought us Junkions. This was really cool. They were Junkions. They could come apart and become weapons, but unlike the weaponizers from before, these could actually transform without coming apart and then be taken apart and build different weapons and even be combined into giant monsters and things like that. Your imagination was the limit. It was kind of neat. The next thing that came from it was the Armorizers, or as I like to refer to them, the Rock Lords. Yes, Transformers from the Inferniac universe, a reference to Inhumanoids that could turn into vehicles and such, but were made out of rock. It was kind of cool. They had lots of nice references to cartoons in there. And let's see, there was one based on Nucleon, which is from the comics that made Transformers not transform. There was one based on something from an episode with Cup where he was terrified of these glowing green rocks. Anyhow, it was kind of neat. Lots of neat stuff there with those Rock Lords. I loved it. But we also got three HasLabs out of Legacy. One was the Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime. I did not actually get that one, nor did I get Deathsaurus. Yes, Deathsaurus, Japanese Transformers. It was kind of cool. But I did get, and one of my favorite Transformers, and the only HasLab I've actually backed, I did get Victory Saber. Oh, I love Victory Saber. Very nice figure. The chrome does peel off a little bit on the front, though. But it was kind of nice. So we got 3 very nice HasLabs out of this. Got a lot of interesting characters from all across the continuities. Like I said before, a lot from animated, but we also got some from Transformers Prime. We got some from Rescue Bots of all things, and we got a lot of Japanese ones here, like this little guy, Tasmanian Kid. Kind of neat. So I think Legacy is really good. It was a good line, but it was kind of all over the place, but I think that was the point. What Legacy was missing the most was a story. I wish Legacy would have had a story and told how all these characters came together. And if you watch the Transformers War for Cybertron cartoon, you probably got a hint of where they were going with all the time travel in the other universes. Well, that's all I have for this week. What did you guys think of the Legacy line? Was it really just a continuation of War for Cybertron and leading into Age of the Primes? Or did it have its own little identity with a lot of different characters from different continuities? That's all I've got for this week. Bye.